Yeah, I would say my favorite Hello Dolly memory is just whenever people tell me how much of a positive influence our group and our shows have on people's lives, um, whether it be inspiration to be themselves more and not be scared of the challenges that come their way, or just like it really made my day, like anything from that range.
I had just transferred to Eastern Illinois University from up north, my hometown of Calumet City, where I was living. And it was my third year of college. I had changed majors 3 times. And my folks the year before had gone to Eastern to look at it for my sister and came home. And they said, there's a theater department there. You're going to go there next fall. And I said, all right. So I ended up at EIU and I got really involved in the theater department because I was a theater major. And made friends that way and started hearing about this show called Hello Dolly, and I decided to go attend, and I enjoyed it. So I tried to make all the shows as much as possible.
I knew about it before I even got here because I looked up RSOs and I knew that Hello Dolly was the name of the improv troupe here. So I guess that way. But then like interacting with it, I saw the first show of the year when I was a freshman. And then the following week I auditioned for it and got in, so yay.
So when I came to Eastern, I was a theater major, and so I started off auditioning immediately and was in a show my first semester. And Hello Dolly was incredibly active on campus, and so quite a few of my friends that I was in school with were in Dali or we went to see Dali. And at the time, in order to join Dali, you had to attend workshops, and so I was invited to attend a few workshops, and in the process, that's how I was asked to join.
It was formed in around sometime between 1993 and 94 by a theater student named Lorinda Novotny. And she recruited a couple other students, Amy Sherwood, Paul Weimerschlug, and Jeremy Seymour. And so they all got recruited into this. I know Chris Pomeroy was a very early member, Clint Verona, and I knew a number of these people. They performed at a place called the Monroe Street Cafe up on the square, which I think eventually became Rosie's. It's now a bar. It's right across from, on the north side. It's the center of the strip on the north side of the courthouse. They would pack the place with people who'd come in, they'd use the restaurant. There was a stage there. The place would be packed. It was really a good time.
I think it's a rather cool name for an improv troupe. So I guess thinking more technically, it is a play on words because Hello Dolly is a musical, but it's spelled D-O-L-L-Y. And then Salvador Dali is an artist.
And I guess the name was chosen Hello Dolly by Amy Sherwood, one of the early members, because she wanted it to have a musical theater energy on a surrealistic plane. And so that's how the name Hello Dolly came about, where it's a classic musical mixed with surrealist painter Salvador Dali.
We averaged anywhere from sometimes 20 to 50. When we would do outside shows, sometimes we would go to Jackson Avenue and they had a back room, which they still do. It just was designed differently, and they would bring in artists usually once a month. And so we would do public shows, which we called our clean shows, the non-potty shows. And those we would fill their capacity. So anywhere from like 50 to 60 plus people.
Let me preface this with that. EIU is not as big as some colleges. I know some people have like crazy amphitheaters, but I would say about 50 I think is a good number to say. It might be a little under that if our advertising is not that great, but if our advertising is pretty decent, it's usually 50. If our advertising is really good, it's usually over 50.
Hello Dali was an amazing experience to kind of take through with life. I think the ability to feel comfortable to do improv in general, because you do typically make a bit of a fool of yourself on some level. It just gave me the opportunity to take that forth and be able to think quickly on my feet if need be, and to be in a position that I could roll with the punches, very literally, you know, kind of taking things as they came to me and being able to digest and process quickly. So it's a life skill that applies in a multitude of fashions.
I mean, there's always going to be change. You don't have the original members, things go on. I can say that Hello Dali right now is definitely better than it was 10 years ago when I arrived. I think they practice more now. I think they've gotten better at it. The current president, Stephen McDunn, has done a really good job of making sure that they attend practices, they get involved in competitions. It's helping them to do a much better job. So, I mean, I can't say it's good or bad one way or the other. It's just different. It's different with every group of new people. It's different with every change in leadership. It is what it is.